Right. Today in geometry we're doing 2-4, deductive reasoning, sometimes called logical reasoning. Not sure why they call it logical reasoning, because this is one I have difficulties with. Hopefully you will grab onto it much quicker than I do. So, the process of reasoning from facts or statements to make a conclusion. So there's two types of deductive reasoning we're going to talk about that we can make conclusions from the information we have. So the first one is law of detachment. If the hypothesis of a true conditional is true, then the conclusion is true. So what happens is, if you write abbreviations, if P then Q is true, and P is true, then Q is true. So what you will have in homework would look something like this. They give you, if a figure is a three-sided polygon, then it is a triangle. And they give you a second set of information. Figure ABC is a three-sided polygon, and you are to draw a conclusion from that. So, if the figure is a three-sided polygon, they tell you that it has to be true, then you know if P then Q is true and P is Q, then the second part, the conclusion, Q is true. So we can deduce or conclude that figure ABC is a triangle. The second type of logical reasoning we're going through is law of syllogism. Law of syllogism allows you to state a conclusion from two true conditional statements when the conclusion of one statement is the hypothesis of the other. So let's break that one down. So we do our abbreviation. If P then Q is true and Q then R is true, then P then R is true. So let's look at an example of that. If it is Saturday, then you walk to work. That's given to you. Second given statement, if you walk to work, then you wear sneakers. So now you're supposed to make a conclusion from that. So you already have this, it is Saturday, you walk to work being a true statement. And then it gave you the conclusion, if you walk to work, then you wear sneakers. It gave you more information. So then you can conclude that your hypothesis P gives you R also. So your hypothesis was, if it is Saturday, then you wear sneakers. And that would be your conclusion. We later on get into transitive property that says if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. That's what I think of when I see this rule, because you start with A equals B and B equals C, then you get A equals C. So this one is easier for my brain to relate to than the detachment. So with a detachment, you start with a statement, you start with a hypothesis, and then you know the conclusion is true also. With syllogism, you start with your two different parts, but they're related to each other because they overlap. So the A equals C. And those are your law of detachment, law of syllogism, and your deductive reasoning. Now you may start your homework.